Hi, Cindy Crane here from Miniature Luxuries and Papers. Really glad to be here today and show you what I've put together. I've done 10 different layouts for you to take a look at. And to be honest, I haven't done scrapbooking in a very long time, and I had a great time putting it together. It was a little hard to choose my favorites, but I hope you like them. Okay, the first pages I'm going to show you from the collection called Imagine. The entire theme is based on art, creativity, music, anything to do with feeling creative and expressing yourself. These are the two sheets that I used for the background. Now for the embellishments, I used this sheet, and I just cut out phrases and things that I liked and just included them on the pages. I also used a foam tape underneath just to give it a little extra dimension. And as another addition, I used the decorative chips. And these have the music theme. This next layout is from the collection called Forest. It's a totally nature theme, and for the backgrounds, I used the bark, which is a beautiful textural effect. And you can see on the one page, I used the other side with the fox. Now I added the layers for photos and journaling, but in addition, I had this sheet. And if you see on the back that I've just cut out sections of it, you can put another photo in here, do a little journaling, and then I just use them also as embellishments on the page. The next collection is Sweetie. This is a newer collection and is just so much full of fun and a little bit of whimsy also. For this one, I just chose to the background pages, but if you wanted a little tea party theme, you could use the back side for one of the pages. Now, for the journaling and the card and the photos, I just used the card sheet. And you can see there's also images on the back, so if you just wanted to use it as an accent, that would work as well. Now for the embellishments on this one, once again, I used the decorative chips. These are really finely made, and you just have to snip where they're attached. And they're actually made of cardboard. You can paint them or stain them. And finally, the chipboard. These are dimensional pieces, and they have adhesive on the back. And you can use these on cards or as I have on the scrapbook pages. There's a lot of really good uses for this one. And one of the most universally popular themes is Alice in Wonderland. Stamperia has put together a beautiful set of papers. And for this one, I used the just plain dotted background. But of course you have the image of Alice in Wonderland, and that's always beautiful. Now for the embellishments, I used the chipboard again. Now these are a little bit different. They're something new. And what they have is little gold foiling. So they really add a little bit of punch to your sheet. And then for the cards and the journaling cards and the photo frames, I've used another double-sided sheet. There's also images on the back. The next collection is called The House of Roses. This one almost has a little country, vintagey look to it. And for the background, I chose the wood and the ivy. Now, for the photo pages and the journaling, again, I used the card page. And this is where I'd like to show you something that might work for your use. On one of the tags, I just fussy cut out the center so that you can insert your photo right behind it, and it makes an instant frame. And then for the embellishments, I used the card sheet. This has a full background on the back, but I just trimmed out some of the tags and some of the circles to use as an accent. The next layout is from the Cosmos collection. This has a nice ethereal and actually a little more nature and woodsy theme to it built in. For the background, I used the constellation, and on this page, which is the reverse side, the moon. I added photo layers, and then I used this sheet to cut out the owl and the wolf and the feather, and then with the other pages I just selected those as additions. You can journal in this or put a little heading or a date to finish off your page. And I really thought we needed something little boy or baby, and the little boy, little girl collection is just really one of the nicest I've seen in a very long time. For the background, I used the striped, but if you look on the back, you also have a little image here. You could actually even use some of these as just borders and put it on a plain sheet. And then for the photos and the journaling cards, we have images on one side, and then you have the spaces for the journaling, or as I showed you before, just cut it out and you can use this as the frame for your photo. And then for additional embellishments, I used the circle sheet, and this is a really nice little background, so you could actually mix and match your layout. And here's the little girl layout. On this layout, I used the one side of the double-sided sheet, the one without the image on this side, and then I used the one with the image over here. And then on the tags and the photo sheets, and then for embellishments, on this one I just cut out the heart, add a little foam behind it for a little dimension, and you're ready to go. And the last layout is from the Princess collection. This is a newer collection also. And for the background, I selected the roses and borders. Some beautiful images on the back of these as well. And then for the photos, I simply cut out these images, just trimmed around the edges, and there again you can cut it out and insert a photo back there, but I've provided layers, photo layers and journaling cards. Now for a little extra embellishment, the decorative chips again. And for a little bit more, the chipboard. And these all coordinate perfectly with all the papers and all of the images. While all the layouts that we've just seen have used just the single double-sided sheets of paper, I thought I would just take a minute to show you part of the rest of the collection, and that includes the paper pads, the 12 by 12, starting with Imagine and Forest. Forest also has an 8 by 8 paper pad, and along with that are the die cuts. Sweetie is the other collection that we looked at. There's also an 8 by 8 paper pad and die cuts to go along with that. Now with Alice, there is a 12 by 12 10-sheet paper pad, but just introduced, and to go along with the gold embossed chipboard, is the 22-sheet single-sided paper pad. Alice also has die cuts. Now for the House of Roses, there's an 8x8 paper pad with that one as well, and die cuts. Cosmos. Cosmos also has an 8x8 paper pad and die cuts. Little Boy. That one has coordinating die cuts. Little Girl, die cuts. Provence. Provence has the 8x8 paper pad, which we used on the layouts. And finally, Princess. Princess also has an 8x8 and die cuts to go with that. And here's a photo of all the layouts that we did today with the product list. Well, I hope you had a good time looking at all the layouts today. And I'd like to mention that everything is available individually on the website except for the layers. But what I've done is put together everything you'll need to make all 10 layouts in one package. So what you would be getting is 32 sheets. You will get the layers included. The 8x8 pad Provence. You'll get 3 sheets of the decorative chips. And you'll also get the 3 chipboards. Also, I'll include a photograph of each layout so that you can do it as I've done it, or of course, be free to pick and choose and do the layouts any way you like. Now, I'll have it listed on my website as a kit. So as soon as this is over, you may take a look and see if you're interested, and I'll get them right out to you. Well, that's it for today. I really appreciate your watching, and I'd like to mention that I'm scheduled for the holiday scrapbook pages and also in December, the Mega Make and Take scrapbook. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.
Hi, this is Tanya Sheridan. I'm an independent consultant with Close to My Heart from Luray, Virginia. And today I wanted to come to you and share some fun with scrapbooking. So I wanted to show you first our current catalog. This is our idea book. It is valid September through October, so through the end of this month. And in this book is going to be the paper that I'm going to be featuring today, which is the Bloom and Grace paper. So before we get started, I wanted to show you my show specials for this event, so you can keep that in the back of your mind. If you make a $50 purchase, that you will receive a pack of the wood grain paper, which I am featuring today, for free. Or if you make a $100 purchase, you'll receive the hexagon thin cut set for free, or the equivalent to that price. To qualify for the free items, purchases may be made on either of my sites or collectively between the two. So to find those, you're going to go to www.inallsassiness.com. That's www.inallsassiness.com, and that will take you to a landing page. And from the landing page, you can go to my Close to My Heart website, where you can find all of the products within this book and much more, or you can go to my In All Sassiness page, which is where you'll find any of the layouts that I'm showing you, my custom work, and that type of thing. So let's get started. So one of the cool things that Close to My Heart has been doing in the past couple years is we have been offering a mix-in paper pack. So these mix-in paper packs, they come each catalog, so each of our seasonal catalogs, which have a 2-month cycle, and in those are papers that coordinate with both of the featured collections. So this is the current mix-in paper, absolutely beautiful, right? You're going to flip it over and you have additional pieces. So all of the pieces will go with both the Bloom and Grace paper pack that we're going to use, as well as the other one that's in the catalog. So lots of fun there. So I wanted to share with you first a layout that I created using that mix-in paper along with our wood grain paper. Now our wood grain paper is in our regular annual book, and it'll be around all year long, but I love using it, and I've been able to incorporate it in several layouts that I wanted to show you today. But here you'll see I just used some accents of that mix-in paper to make my pennants. These were all cut out on the Cricut, as well as these fun flowers. So this again is a kit in my shop that you can purchase. You can either do a dog or a cat. There's 2 variations, which I thought was kind of fun. But all of these little wreaths were cut out on the Cricut for you. And I love how this mix-in paper partners so well with the wood grain paper. So the wood grain paper actually has 2 sides as well. So this is what the opposite side of that piece looks like. So it just has so many possibilities, and it's a classic. You're gonna absolutely love it. So I accented this with a couple of little embellishments and filled the embellishments with some stickles, or the pearlized stickles version, and so forth. But lots of fun, lots of depth. You'll see that there is some 3D foam tape in between the flowers here. There's lots of different layers and so forth. So I thought that that was a fun way to get started. The next one that I wanted to share with you is using our new hexagon die sets, and these are so much fun. You're gonna love them. Hexagons seem to be a big rage right now. Our set comes with these really large pieces. So this one here will actually cut from a 4x6 photograph, and so I have just a sample to show you here. This was a 4x6, and if you can pick it up there, it fits right on top. So basically it's 4 inches this way, and it's a little bit longer this way, but you could use it on a 4x6 photograph if you wanted to use it on photographs. And what I love so much about it is if you look really closely, you can see the beautiful stitching. It just really pops on the photographs. So you can also see how it's popped all over the hexagons in the layout itself. It cuts very cleanly on your photographs. You can see these were just, I ran them right through my Sizzix machine. They cut very cleanly as well. But lots of different sizes that are gonna nest all the way down to this tiny, tiny, tiny little one. So these are gonna be like your classic, and I'm gonna show you those on the next layout. And then there's just lots of different sizes that can really pull things together. So with this layout, what I did was I took that die and I actually cut apart my photograph because I wanted to show you how clean it looked as a photograph, just enhancing this large 8x10 photograph, and pieced it all together. And then over here, I tried a few different things. So here you have a couple of photographs. So there's 3 photographs that are the full size of the die. You can see where I also took the cardstock to do these 2 and then use the next size down, which is this die, to cut the photograph, and use the large hexagon as a mat. So that would certainly be an option as well. Lots of possibilities. For all of these, I decided that they would really pop more if they were popped up on foam. So I did that on each of those photographs. But I love how they balanced the hexagons, made kind of a circular. They all fit together. There's a little bit of a margin in between each of these pieces. And of course, you could do a little bit smaller if you wanted to do smaller as well. These little pieces here, these are from our sticker sheet, which has lots of fun sentiments and words that you could use in lots of different ways. And then this piece here, I just cut out of a regular piece of cardstock. I trimmed it down to 11 3/4 by 11 3/4, and then went inside and cut the margin off. Of course, you could also do that with a Cricut, but it was easy to do on just a simple cutter. So the next one that I wanted to show you was also featuring that same set, just in a little bit of a different form. So for this one, I used this piece, this little die here, for most of my cuts. You'll see that it fits exactly. And then I used the next size up for my shakers, and I'm going to show you how I did the shakers in a second. So I used the 2 different combinations. All of these hexagons were cut from the Bloom and Grace paper pack, along with a couple of accents. So you'll see that there are some of the cardstock colors. I used the espresso, both the dark and the light. I did the same with the desert rose, which is one of our new colors, and just, you know, kind of pulled that all together. And then, like I said, I took this piece and added a shaker, and I have 3 shakers, and they're there, there, and there. And I'm going to show you how I did that in just a second. But before I do that, I wanted to also showcase our flip flaps. So if you're not familiar, Close to My Heart has a signature flip flap, and they are fabulous. They are so wonderful for being able to add extra photos. And basically all you do is put your photos in your flip flap, and then it allows you to flip them up and add additional photographs. So it doesn't make your layout look overwhelming. On this one, you'll see I have 3 here, then of course my focal point, and then over here I have an additional 3 more, or you could do journaling. So normally speaking, you would attach these to the top of your page protector. So your layout would go in the page protector, and then the flip flap goes on top, and it just flips up. But for the purposes of the video, I wanted to be able to show it to you without a lot of reflection. And then you can just slide your photos. They slide right in, and they are attached back and front so that they work super well with the flip flap. To attach that flip flap, what you're going to do is you're going to get it back into position. You're going to pull off this side, and this is, if you look closely, it is textured, where on the back you can see that it's smooth. So the texture is where your adhesive is. So you're going to pull just a little bit, about that much, just a tiny bit. You're going to position again on top of your page protector, but for this purpose I'm going to set it here, and then you're going to pull that all the way off. And when you do that, then you would stick it right down to your page protector, and it would flip up and then flip back. And then this is clear, so you're not going to see that tape. But it's a wonderful enhancement, again, to add extra photographs to your layout without feeling super, super cluttered and overly busy. So I'm going to move those off for a second because I wanted to show you this cute little shaker that I made. And so for the shaker, basically, I still glued down the hexagon, which was, again, this size, okay? And then I cut this out, which I'm going to show you how in a second, and then popped it up on acetate and with foam. And if you take the layout, you can see that the shakers move a little bit. I know it's kind of hard to see with the bouncing light, but it also keeps them kind of intact. So I didn't want them to shake a lot because you're not going to really pick up your book and shake like correct, you're just going to see the little elements move a little bit. So I thought that that was a fun technique, and I wanted to show you how you can do that yourself at home. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your base. So the base is going to be whatever size you did. I just stacked 1, 2, and 3 together. I have foam in between 1 and 2 just to create a fun accent. And then I have this piece here, which I'm going to show you how to do out of this piece. So basically this is what I'm going for, but I cut out this size, and I'm just going to cut in and cut slightly, and I want to leave a maybe 1/4 of an inch or so margin. I want to be consistent, but I'm basically making a rim that's going to come over my foam tape. And you could of course do this on your Cricut if you wanted to, but I love the thin cut in that it has those elegant stitch marks. I think that those are very, very pretty. Okay, so this is what you're going to end with as your result, just like that, okay? So we're actually going to use this one because I like this one better. I'm going to then take a piece of acetate, and we actually sell acetate now in our shaker windows foam and acetate. So this is the rectangular one, but we have stars and hearts and all sorts of things. So I have a scrap of that piece left, and I'm going to line up my piece, and it will fit 2 exactly of these hexagons. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm just going to trace my hexagon piece on that acetate with my scissors, or cut it out, not really trace it. You could trace it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If it's a little bit off, it's no worries. And then I'm going to pull this film, and so you can see that there's a little film on the acetate. Cricut also makes 12 by 12 sheets, and you can get acetate other places, but I like Close to My Hearts because it's much stronger of an acetate than Cricut. And so I think that that is really good. Okay, so now we're going to flip this over, and I'm going to attach my foam tape to the back, just like that. And we're going to attach this with glue dots once I get it all together. So I'm just going to make a border all the way around. Go right on the edge of that acetate. And if it's a little bit over, it's okay, no worries, you can fix that. You can just trim it off. But you want to go all the way around because you don't want your sequins to come out and pop out of that acetate. You want them to be nice and even and not escape on you. I have one more little piece. Now, if you were using this for some of our other dies, like our hearts and that type of thing, the foam tape is already shaped in that manner, but we're just making do with what we have to save on cost. So now I'm going to take my glue dot runner, and I'm going to put 1 glue dot in each corner of my hexagon. And that is just going to make sure that it stays down. So then I'm going to glue that right on top, just like that. And you can see I cut mine a little bit too thick, but that could easily be fixed by just sliding this off to the side a little bit more. So you don't want it to show through. So that's an easy fix if it is showing through, is just slide it, and then you just cut it with your scissors to fit, okay? So there's one more spot down here that we can just move over, just like that. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take our loose sequins and we're gonna put those in the middle of our hexagons. And I always like to glue down a few of them. That way, when you're shaking, a few stay in place. I just find that helpful with all of my shakers, whether it's in my scrapbook or whether it's in a card. That way they don't all slide to the bottom. And truthfully, the person who is receiving the card or looking at your album, they have no idea that they're glued down. It just looks like they are in place. Okay, so we're going to glue that one down. Then I'm just going to come back and I'm going to take this foam and pull the film off. You want to make sure again that you've gone all the way around so that the sequins don't fall out, because that would be craziness, right? So then I'm going to line up that shaker and press down. Make sure it's sealed, and then depending on how high you have, they will shake a little bit. I put mine a little bit higher so it's more of a cluster, but you can see they shake a little bit. So that's how you would create that element, whether it be in your scrapbook or whether it be in your on a card. Okay, so the next one I wanted to show you is using another set of our dies, and these are a brand new set. It is a large set. It's a double set. So you have each leaf in 2 sizes. So you have the 2 here, you have this leaf with that one, you have those 2 and those 2. And it's awesome because you can interchange them, and I'll show you that in a second. But here is a layout that I created with all of the leaves. I used our new colors along with our wood grain paper. So you're seeing that again. This is the Desert Rose and the Scarlet mixed and paired with the Espresso. And then these are also 2 of our brand new glitter papers, which are the Scarlet, which is the redder one, and the Desert Rose, which is kind of like a rose gold color. You'll also notice that there's rose gold sequins all over the place. But I used these leaves, some are popped up, some are flat, to create this fun wreath over here, and then just interchange all of the vines. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. And then you'll see that I also have flip flaps on this one. So here it gives you the option for extra flip flaps or extra photographs. And then I did the same thing with the large photo, because we now have a 5x7 size, which is absolutely phenomenal for your school pictures, or if you want something a little bit bigger than 4x6. And then you can flip this one open, and here you'll see that there is a place for journaling. This particular event, I had a lot of journaling, so I will put a lot of journaling here. But if you didn't, you could do like a 4x6 or 3x4 picture here and a little bit of journaling, or you could do a whole photo there, whatever you'd like. But again, these would tack down on top of your page protector. But I love how the glitter paper accents it and kind of creates this little border. Of course, the titles were done on the Cricut as well. So this layout, as well as all of the others, are of course available in my shop, which is inallsassiness.com. For this one, because my title is a little bit more of a personal one, you would also receive a half a sheet of each of the 2 colors of cardstock, so that you could cut out your own layout, whether it be on the Cricut or the Cuttlebug, etc. So with that being said, I wanted to show you these leaves and how they cut out, because they are so much fun and they're just so many possibilities. So first of all, this is the big leaf. So you can see that it would cut out like that. So you could, of course, if this was trimmed nicely, which I didn't have mine trimmed nicely, but you could use this as an outline. That would look very, very elegant. But then if you cut the leaves out, you have all these little veins that you can intermix. Of course, you could put it directly on a paper. So we're going to use this magnet backing just to show you. But you could put it directly on a paper and the vein would show just like that. But if you're popping it up on foam, you would have a little bit more intricate work there. So here you have all the veins. So I found that the easiest way to do this is to flip them over to the back side, find the vein that you want, put it inside, just like that. And then come back with your foam tape and use your foam tape as your way that you are going to adhere that down. And so I just went right across it, and then I just kind of fit that vein into place and secured it again with more of the foam tape. So just like that. And then when you pop it up on the foam, you have more dimension and you can overlap the pieces. And of course, it'd be a little bit neater than that one. But lots of possibilities. You have that leaf. I love the way that these look with just the little inside tiny vein on them. Lots and lots of possibilities. And what I did for my wreath is I just cut out all the colors, lots of different leaves, the back and fronts of our cardstocks, because they are two-toned. They're dark on one side and light on the other, which gives you a lot more possibilities. And then I just set them on my Versamat and just played and just picked the veins that I thought looked the best with that color and along my arrangement as well. So I hope that I've given you some wonderful ideas that you can use in your scrapbooking with some of our new thin cuts and our new papers. Again, you can find my specials at www.inallsassiness.com. And whatever you do, make it sassy.